Serving off with some tennis, defending champion Naomi Osaka and hometown girl Ashley Barty are on course for a big fourth-round clash at the Australian Open after claiming victories in Melbourne earlier on Wednesday. Osaka made light work of Madison Brengle, winning 6-love, 6-4, while Barty defeated Italy's Lucia Bronzetti 6-1, 6-1. Osaka will next face Amanda Anisimova, while Barty will face Camila Giorgi. Among the men, Rafael Nadal and Germany's Alexander Zverev were also winners. Nadal announced he advanced to round 3 by beating Germany's Yannick Hanfmann 6-2, 6-3, 6-4, while Zverev knocked off Australian's John Millman 6-4, 6-4, 6-0. Well, George and Lance, exciting start to the Australian Open. I think it's fitting that I start the discussion by talking about the defending woman champion, Naomi Osaka. She looked happy today. Yeah,
my favorite to win the tournament before a ball was hit. It's never a wise thing to base your selection for championship honors based on any games. It's not wise to see a tennis player win a game, win a match now and say, oh, on the strength of that performance, he or she's going to win the next match or win the tournament. But I think Naomi Osaka is in the right place. She said that she used to be judging herself and she felt like every eye in the stadium was on her when she walked into the arena to play tennis matches. That was between the French Open and the struggle she had after that. She says now she's being a bit more selfish, focusing on herself. So she goes out there, she doesn't care what anybody looking on may be thinking about, which used to bother her before. And I think that Naomi Osaka in the right mental space is unbeatable. And I expect her, once she keeps her moment of zen and prolong it until the end, I think it's hers to lose.
Yeah, Lance, George talks about, being in a good mental space. Do you get the sense that the 4-month break that she had is helping her on-court performance?
I think so. It has refreshed her, and based on the mental issues that she had been through in the past year, I think that sometimes taking a break and just stepping away for a moment has the effect of sort of re-energizing you. And I think, mentally, as George just mentioned, I think she's in a good place at the moment. The fact is that based on the seeding, she is on course for a 4th-round clash with Ash Barty, who is the world number one. Having said that, head-to-head, she has beaten Barty twice, and Barty has beaten her only once. So head-to-head, Naomi goes in psychologically with the advantage. The other issue for Barty is that she's playing in front of her home crowd, which adds to the pressure. She's never won the Australian Open, Ash Barty. In fact, her best outing, I think, would have been a semi-final appearance in 2020. So I hear, George, that Naomi is his favorite to win. I like Ash Barty. I would pick her over Naomi. But I recognize that at this moment in time, the pressure on Barty and the sort of relaxation that Osaka is experiencing could give Osaka a good chance against the Aussie.
George, he mentions the pressure of playing at home. But I want to actually spin that and say, what about thinking of it that Ashley Barty has the support of her home crowd? And that could actually, I know you're supporting Naomi Osaka and you want her to go on to win, but that home crowd support can actually help Ash Barty to advance and win the competition.
It can. Lance would know enough to know that the home crowd serves dual purposes. It can help you up, pick you up, it can sustain you, it can help you through a very, very difficult passage in a match or through a very difficult match entirely. But it can also be like this heavy cloak, this suffocating presence. A seasoned professional now, Ash Barty, I think the crowd only adds to her motivation. The crowd only serves to boost her on-court performances. And so I don't think it will be a hindrance. I think, though, that if it comes down to it, if you go brass tacks, Naomi Osaka is a better tennis player than Ash Barty, I believe. So if anybody is saying that Ash Barty is more likely than Osaka to win the tournament, it's because they are unsure about the stability of Osaka's mental health and whether there is any fragility that will cause her to be less than optimum in the matches. If she is well, that's why I said, if she is well, she is a better tennis player than every single woman in this competition, and that's why I think she'll win. But that's not how tournaments are won.
Exactly. And speaking about home support, earlier today, Alexander Zverev he benefited from that home crowd advantage, and he was very keen to point it out when he was speaking in the post-match about how the fans rallied behind him and contributed to his dominating performance. What did you make of him today?
I think he is, well, if he doesn't win this tournament, he'll be disappointed because, let's face it, with Djokovic out, it's wide open. Any man worth anything will be thinking that I can win an Australian Open title. If you look at his challengers, Daniil Medvedev is the man who springs to mind, obviously. So the German Zverev against Medvedev, the Russian. The fact is that, unlike many people, I'm not quite sold on Zverev just yet. I mean, he's an Olympic gold medalist, isn't he? And he's won ATP titles, no Grand Slam just yet. But he'll be saying to himself, if I can't win this Australian Open now, with the big dog gone, when will I win one? I think this is his perfect opportunity. How many Germans have won the Australian Open before? One, Boris Becker, twice. So Germans don't have good records in Australia for whatever reason. Where Daniil Medvedev is concerned, he'd be the third Russian to win it behind Yevgeny Kafelnikov. We call him Kalashnikov back in the day. Other sportscasters did when Lance was reading it on radio. And Marat Safin, who also won. And I think Russia hasn't had an Australian Open men's champion since 2005. So it's been a long time between innings for Russia. Medvedev, though, I think is a better player than Zverev right now. But again, being a better player doesn't mean you're going to win a Grand Slam because there's many a stick between cup and lip. But in terms of frame of mind, Zverev is full of confidence. Medvedev is being touted by many people as a big favorite. I overheard you talking to Ricardo in the zone room earlier today, Lance, about Medvedev trying to play down his status. No less than Mats Wilander picked him as the best player left in the tournament. And I agree that he's the best in the tournament. Him and Zverev, the top two, can they be upset? Yes. Nadal, you notice I haven't said anything about it.
I was wondering about
Nadal hasn't won the Australian Open. Well, this will be the 14th year if he doesn't win this. He hasn't won it in 13 years. Last won it in 2009. I think Rafa's best years are behind him on courses that aren't clay.
Yeah.
So anything I get from Rafa in any other Grand Slam is a bonus. Yeah. But I'm not counting on him to be a major factor.
Yes, here. He has looked good so far in Melbourne, and you are right that his game is not what it was 5 or 6 years ago. In fact, because of injury issues and so on, almost for half a year he had been out of competitive action. But there seems to be some comfort at the moment with Rafa Nadal and his present game. George mentioned earlier on that I saw the report from Daniil Medvedev, who was trying to rid himself of this favorite stag that people were pushing on him, which suggests that he doesn't want that pressure. He doesn't want that pressure. And he was suggesting that Nadal is the favorite. That's what Medvedev says, that Nadal is the favorite. I don't like Zverev very much for this tournament, but on form and in the past year, he has been one of the top players in the world. But with, as George mentioned, Djokovic out, the competition gets widened. It's open. I think Medvedev has a really, really great shot here, but I don't want to rule out Rafa, George. He has the pedigree. I know he doesn't at this present stage of his career would not command the sort of fear and awe that he will, present to his opponents. But he has pedigree, and I don't think you should overlook that.
In one of the conferences, I know you're going to jump in to tell Lance something, but one of the conferences, they asked him how come he's taking so long to win the matches and whatnot. Why can't he do it in a shorter period of time? And he was saying that, he's aware of his flaws. He knows that he's not the youngster as before, but he just wants to get the job done. So he's also very aware of...
The thing is, that's a point. The thing is, though, prime time Nadal had Djokovic to contend with in Australia. Djokovic is, of course, the master of the Australian Open. But not many of those finals that Djokovic won, the 9 that he won, how many times did he beat Nadal in the final? I think maybe once, if at all. Well, no, because Federer is the only of the traditional big guys that he's beaten in a final. So he's not... Nadal. So Nadal hasn't lost the final to Djokovic, and yet, this makes my point even stronger. He hasn't won Australian Open since 2009. Australia is not his happy hunting ground. Of the 20 So my producer is saying he's lost 1 to Djokovic in Australia. So he's lost 1 to Djokovic.
Yes.
So the other times he's fallen before getting to the final
Yes.
against Djokovic, or fallen when another person has won it. The fact is, if you look at his record, that one Australian Open in 2009, it's not his favorite surface. He did that when 2009 Rafa Nadal was at his very, very best and was several injuries away from the banged up old man we're seeing now, relatively speaking, of course.
Yes.
I'm saying to you that against this young bunch, and I'm not saying that this young bunch is a batch threatening to become all-time greats in the way that Nadal himself, Djokovic and Federer have vaulted themselves above all of the names that we used to talk about as the greatest of all time. But I'm saying that if he couldn't do it in his prime with more regularity and repeat more than one, I don't think he's going to do it now. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm playing the percentages and looking at the record. And the record suggests Rafa won't connect in Australia.
Yeah, just for me though, the only reason I'll rally behind him is because there seems to be this fighting spirit and just the advantage mentally of knowing that Djokovic is not there. You know, he would get the sense to feel that maybe this could be the year for him coming out of all those different injuries and whatnot. But we'll wait and see, of course. Viewers, we're taking a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.